From Glenn and I, a big welcome to all of you tuning in once again to Switch Up Gaming. Here we have a new review for the game Aperion Cyberstorm. Now I thought I was pretty good at games until I met this one. Aperion's a top-down bullet hell shooter. I know, right? We have bloody loads of those on the Switch already. So stick around to the end to find out if this is a glowing futuristic orb of hope or a tired, bloated, Quato-looking nightmare. There is a reason I'm starting with music this time. It's freaking berserk. Just check this music out. I feel like I've stumbled uninvited across a German techno house party whenever I enter a new area. There are a wide range of banging house, techno and cyberpunk tracks. They range from the intense to the, well, ridiculously intense. It certainly increases the adrenaline of a firefight, but be prepared to literally stagger out of the room, clutching the metaphorical railings just to get up the stairs outside of the club and into the quiet of the corridor, which is a good thing too, because I think the human brain can only take so much intensity. You do hear the same tunes quite a few times, but they're catchy and begin to feel like the battle drums of an epic clash each time you hear them. Sound effects play second fiddle in this department, but are adequate. Gun sounds are suitably futuristic, and there will be so many pew pew pews going off that you might think you've accidentally stumbled into a church. Ouch. That was, did I write that? That was bad, forgive me. No voice acting on this one, and HD rumble is pretty sparse, which in my opinion is always a missed trick, as was shown with the beautiful Celeste. The tunes are banging, exhilarating, but can become overwhelming. Music and sound scores 16 out of 20. I can describe the gameplay easily. You enter a room, 1,000 angry enemies appear in all shapes and sizes. You do your damnedest to avoid 10,000 bullets. Your power-up finally kicks in and you smash the L and R triggers to unleash their special abilities. The screen again fills, but this time with 10,000 of your own bullets. And you spin the sticks while gracefully annihilating your pathetic foe. This is until your specials run out and you return to your bog standard blaster and the enemy laugh in your puny face by releasing another 1,000 ships in your direction. Using your boost ability, which handily makes you invulnerable, you escape said enemies just in time for the cooldown on your specials to end. Bang! You press your special ability and once more into the breach, my friend. You steam in, all guns are blazing. The whole thing only took about 53 seconds, but as the last enemy ship explodes and you're rewarded with stats showing just how much of a badass you are, you feel powerful and pretty much invulnerable. Your shield's barely scratched. Smug, you progress into the next area via a corridor. As the door closes behind you and the German techno DJ gets started all over again, 2,000 enemy ships pour into a small space. This time one of them can bloody shoot back. Boss fights were so welcome for the change of pace, and I was happy that they at least required some thought. Neo from the Matrix would struggle to dodge all the bullets here, to be fair. Thankfully the game keeps you always within reach of a power-up. Gameplay in the campaign follows this loop to a fault. At its best, it's incredibly entertaining, particularly when you pair up with 4 of your friends. At its worst, it's pretty repetitive, both brutal and unforgiving, but also rewarding and satisfying. Also from the main menu you have Versus mode, and you have a Horde mode, which pits you against wave after wave of enemies. While this is an interesting addition, it doesn't really overcome that gameplay loop of doing the same thing over and over again. Minimalist and functional, the graphics are probably one of the weakest areas of the title. While I like the neon colours and simplistic styles, I couldn't help but long for some space to spread my wings, some vistas. I was told I was on an alien planet, but quite frankly, I could have been in an alien's backside for all the visual clues I was given. I understand that the focus here is not on graphics as such, it's the gameplay that should be the hook here, but in a market packed to the rafters with quality shooters, Differentiating oneself is important, and on each stage I felt like I knew exactly what was going to be around the corner visually. Yes, between worlds you do begin to see a slight change of aesthetic, but overall they were, at least for me, a little dull. Graphics, a 10 out of 20 here. Controls are pretty standard fare for the most part, following a very similar formula to Enter the Gungeon. The left stick controls your movement and the right stick controls your shooting in 360 degrees. This is a popular format because actually it works really nicely. The L and the R triggers are used for your special abilities, which can be triggered once every few minutes, and they have a cooldown which then allows you to use them again. The R bumper is used for your dodge or dash ability, which makes you invulnerable. This has been seen in many games and works nicely because actually when it is a bullet hell game and things are flying all over the place, having one last option to escape and do damage is pretty much essential. Overall the controls work well, but there are a couple of issues. I found that the vehicles have a slight weight to them, so that as you release the movement trigger, they continue moving, and actually I did discover what appeared to be a bug. When I moved my stick to the right too far, and then let go, it would continue moving just indefinitely. Now I did try resyncing my controllers, using a different controller, and I actually managed to recreate that bug, but it might be something the developers want to look at, just to see if those sensitivities are too high, and maybe it's just misreading those movements. But overall the controls work really nicely. I would give them 17 out of 20. There's not much more, to be fair, they could do to the controls. Longevity. Now this is a really important one, especially for a game like this in such a crowded marketplace. The main campaign is a good few hours long, and actually if you do what I did and split it into chunks, you're going to get much more time out of this. Plus the replayability of being able to play with up to 5 friends adds a lot to the experience. From the main menu you will notice that there is a versus option. With a group of friends you'll have a lot of fun just destroying each other's ships and generally causing havoc. There's also a raid mode on there, which is nice to see, and I do enjoy those in most games, and teaming up with friends and fighting wave after wave with different power-ups and you're allowed all the unlocks from the get-go is a really nice addition that's going to add a lot of playtime to your experience. So overall I give longevity 16 out of 20. Okay, so on to the final verdict, and as you mathematicians have already worked out, we score the game overall 73%, which is very respectable. It is a good game, it's one that you're going to enjoy if you're a shooter fan, but it does become repetitive, and they could have done a heck of a lot more to make this a unique experience. This is definitely one for shooter fans. It does shoot into the next level. The music, while absolutely bonkers, is a pleasure to experience, and if you do have more than one friend, Glenn, then this is one for you. Cheers guys, I hope you've enjoyed the review. A comment is more important to me than anything, to be honest. What's your favourite shooter of all time? Stick it in the box below. Thanks again to the developers and the publishers for providing the review copy of this game. Keep it switch up guys, and I'll see you on the next one.